Welcome back to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comic Jones. Today is September 2nd, 2020, and this is episode 78. Today we're going to take a look at the Orville. This is a one of two, and this is actually, arc is called Launch Day, part one of two. Obviously it's the number one in this arc. Dark Horse Comics is putting this out. It's written by David A. Goodman, and the art is by David Cabeza. Okay, but that name Cabeza sounds familiar. Maybe I've read something by him, or he's drawn before. Kind of take another look here. I've never seen an episode of the Orville, and I've heard it's a lot like Star Trek. In fact, what we're going to find in this book is that the story is very much like Star Trek. I expect it to be this a little bit more humorous. It falls somewhere between Seinfeld and Mel Brooks in here. It's very subtle humor. It's not hit me over the head slapstick humor. So with that said, the writing is very good. The art is capable. It looks good. What do you want to say? The pacing of the story is pretty good. It's paced exactly like old Star Trek episode. In fact, you see them standing around a lot. Just about every page has the crew standing around, or just any. There's only one panel in this whole thing where there's any action, and that's where there's a couple of them running dash. They're doing a dine and dash. So that was supposed to be one of the funny areas. It's not super funny. I didn't find this super funny. It's not like shirtless bear fighter funny. But it does, puts a smile on your face. But if you do enjoy Star Trek, I think you would like this, because this story, like I had mentioned, is quite a bit along the lines of a Star Trek storyline, at least the first original Star Trek. I didn't watch too much of the Next Generation and all the iterations after that. Every once in a while I'd catch an episode, but I'm more versed in the original Star Trek cast. So the way it happens here, you start out, it's 20 years ago, and they're saying goodbye to this, I guess he's kind of like a consulate or something like that, from the planet Alibar. And Alibar has decided to leave the Union, meaning it's kind of like a federation of stars or planets, solar systems. And of course they have we'll get into that in a second. So he says goodbye, and this is 20 years later. We get this transition here. I didn't realize it was the same person, but it's now Captain Ed Mercer. And before, he was just a guy that worked on the shuttle, either driving or doing maintenance on it, or both. So now he's got this ship, and they've got this large fleet of krill that show up, and the Orville, which is the main ship captained by Ed Mercer here, blocks them. It's eight krill ships there. And they say, what's going on? And they say, well, we're picking up a signal, and we see it's coming from the outskirts of the planet Alibar, which has left the Union, and the krill aren't part of the Union either, but they seem to have some kind of treaty between the two groups here, kind of like like the Romulans and Starfleet, something like that, where they're not real super friendly, but they don't attack each other, or maybe a later version of the Klingons, after they made their truce with the Federation. So they say they want to attack this object they're picking up. They think it's something like the Star Wars, the Death Planet. I can't think of what it's called, the Death Star. Thank you. So they think there's something being created like a Death Star. They're not sure what it is, though. So the Union tells them, just hold back, give us 2 days to investigate. And they're saying, well, we don't want to wait. We think it's a weapon. We're in a lot of trouble. The energy pulse on it is rising rapidly. So they convince them to wait out 2 days. And they say that if they find it's a weapon, that they will attack it alongside the krill. But the krill are looking to attack anyway. They're not going to want to wait. So in the meantime, these two members of the crew, Ed Mercer, and I'm not sure who the first mate is here, but they are going to go down the planet. So they put disguises on so they'll mix in with the population, since the Alibar does not allow outsiders. Ever since they left the Union, they banned outsiders from coming in. And what they find when they land on the planet is that nothing has really been done to the planet. It is kind of the last 20 years they've been out, they have just let the planet go to waste, basically, unfortunately. So what we got here is they find out, they come into town, they're not recognized, they're asked to register. So that'll be their first task. And real quick, here's a shout out to this Bang #1, this comic. The only reason I'm making a big deal about it is Matt Kint. I don't know how to say that, Kint or Kint. I'm not sure. He is the writer on this, and he's also doing a book right now that just opened up on Kickstarter yesterday with Keanu Reeves. So it's Keanu Reeves' story, and then Matt is writing the whole thing out. And the drawings look like Keanu Reeves, and it's called Berserker. No vowels in Berserker, so it's all consonants. And it's already doing super good. I think it's around $300,000 or so already on Kickstarter. So if you want to take a look at that, you might want to get that. It's a lot of pages. So it's going to be 3 graphic novels, and you just pay up front for all 3 graphic novels, and they'll be coming over the next year and a half or so. So big shout out for that. I'm assuming this might be pretty good too. But anyway, let's get back to the story. They have to register because they're on this planet. I get distracted easily. Okay, we'll skip this one. And then they go to get some food because the captain has gotten hungry. This is when they find out that there's supposed to be a big event involving that Death Star. I don't know if that's what it is, but they don't know what it is yet. They call it Launch Day, and it's gonna happen tomorrow. So then they also find out that they are supposed to pay for food. In the 20 years ago, all the food was free. They had food synthesizers that made it for everything. So when they find out, you get your action panel as they do the dine and dash here. In the meanwhile, the shuttle that took the 2 down to the planet is investigating the other orb out there. And basically, not going to really give you too much away here when I show the last pages, because you really don't find out what it is. It's all a mystery. There's this launch day happening tomorrow. It's supposed to be beneficial to the planet of Alibar. We've got the Krill Fleet out there waiting to storm the Orville, and then we see this is what the shuttle sees, the planet they're building, and they have no idea. They just say it looks like a weapon. So this is how it ends, and then we'll be going into part 2. It's only 20 pages long. Like I said, the story's interesting. It's not really super suspenseful at this point. They do have a couple conflicts going on, a couple interesting turns, but nothing that's like really like a super page turner. I did enjoy it enough. I would give it a recommend, especially if you're a Star Trek fan or just like that kind of genre, or Orville. I would assume you'd like it as well. But for others that like superhero comics, I'm not sure they'd like it as much. I tend to like kind of everything if it's well written, and this was well written. It's just not a real action-packed story that I kind of expected, with lasers and all kinds of spaceship chases and crashes and things like that. Nothing like that's happened, just that scene, that one panel where they were running. So if you're interested, go ahead and get this one. It's $3.99. And I will get the second one, so we'll finish up the arc. And so this is what you got today. So thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe, please like, please leave comments. I know the last video I did was a DC Dead Planet, and that seems to be doing pretty good for my channel because I'm fairly new and people don't know about me, but I'm hoping this one will pick up a little bit as well. I was surprised that DC's Dead Planet #3 is doing as well as it is, because there are a lot of reviews out there, but people are stopping by and checking it out. So that's a good thing. So thank you for supporting this channel any way you can. And we'll see you next time. I've got Marvel previews coming up, DC previews coming up, and then all the independent previews as well. I'm hoping to get those in there by the end of the weekend. They kind of take a long time. They end up being like 25 minutes each. So we'll see what we can do with that. So thanks for stopping by. Take care of yourselves. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. Good night.